Hey everyone, Chad back with another at-home or travel workout from Kinetics. So today we're going to start with our prep portion. We have 3 to 4 sets, 30 seconds of jumping jacks, followed by 30 seconds of mountain climbers, then another 30 seconds of a sumo hinge jump, and lastly 8 to 10 reps of an eccentric knee flexion. So let's take a look at what those are. So our jumping jack's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, just making sure, getting those hands all the way over our head. Okay, trying to keep the shoulders pulled back so the arms travel in line with your body. 30 seconds there, light on your feet, just getting that heart rate up. After that, we're gonna drop down into a tall plank position, and we go into our mountain climbers. Okay, driving that knee forward. I can come up with some different variations here in terms of knee position. We've shared some videos in the past with a lot of different kind of fun ways to adjust this movement, but we're trying to just warm up, bring the heart rate up, so whatever you're comfortable with, that's the one we want you to use today. Our sumo hinge jump. Sumo is going to talk about the foot position, so my feet are wide, toes slightly pointed out. From here, I'm going to hinge my hips back, so there's a slight bend in the knees, but it's mostly hip movement, and I'm going to push my feet to the floor and jump. So rapid hip extension, similar to what we would do with like a squat jump, but instead I'm hinging, not squatting. Okay? Shins remain vertical, butt pushes back, 30 seconds of those hinge jumps. And the last movement we have is going to be 8 to 10 reps of an eccentric knee flexion. So I'm going to get into a tall kneeling position. So both knees down and my torso is completely upright, hips are extended. From here, I'm gonna sit back bring my butt towards my heels, really, really slow and controlled. When I get to that bottom position, walk my hands up, come back to that top position, and lowering again. Okay. We're focusing on the lowering, not lifting out of that position. So that's why I'm walking my hands back up to that start. Okay? 8 to 10 reps there. Once you finish that, we'll get into our sweat piece, 4 to 6 sets, and we have 4 movements. 10 to 15 reps of cyclist squats, 15 to 20 reps of prisoner good mornings, 1 minute of a glute bridge hold, and lastly, 1 minute of a lateral step floor touch. So you will need some sort of a timer here to help with both the prep and the sweat piece. We recommend just taking a look at the push press timer. It's a free app. It's pretty loud. It's audible. It's great for if you're gonna run. It'll come over your music and tell you to start and stop intervals. So it's a nice, simple little tool to use. So starting off with our cyclist squats. This is a squat with our feet together and our heels elevated. So you'll need something to elevate your heels, okay? Unlike an active foot squat, I actually am putting something underneath my heels to lift them. So right now I have a block. It's about 2 inches thick. If you can use a book, or perhaps you have a piece of like wood out in your garage, a little 2x4 or something like that, that you can elevate your heels slightly. Something that's about 1 inch or 2 off the ground. My feet come together, and from there, I'm just following normal squat mechanics, right? Brace through my belly, squatting down, and standing. So I'm braced, my torso is upright. If I want to add some weight, if I have a kettlebell or a dumbbell, I can pop it up in this goblet position, add some weight. I can always offset it. Just make sure that if I'm doing offset here, that I'm gonna get the same amount of reps holding the weight in my right hand versus my left. After our 10 to 15 reps there, we have 15 to 20 reps of a prisoner good morning, interlocking those fingers behind our head, pulling the shoulders and elbows back, and I'm going into that good hinge position where I'm going to push my butt back into a hinge, stand. I want to squeeze my butt hard into that hip extension. Again, hips back, and stand. Real easy if you have access to a band to add some band tension to this. You just step into that band, pop it up behind the neck, prisoner position, And now I'm adding a little bit of additional resistance to that. The volume is 15 to 20 per set here, so you may want to consider keeping a light or moderate amount of band resistance on there. Once we finish those, we have 1 minute of a glute bridge hold. So isometric contraction here. Laying down on the floor, supine position. I'm going to drive my heels into the floor, squeeze my butt, bracing through the belly, squeezing my butt. I like to add in pushing my elbows down into the floor for an additional kind of effort there with my upper back. We're holding that for 1 minute. After we finish that, the last thing we have in our series of movements is a lateral step floor touch. So what I want you to think about is you're replacing the central foot each rep. So from here, I'm going to step to the side a little, reach and touch the floor. Replace the foot, touch the floor. So as I go, keeping it nice and fluid. Whatever foot is central, I'm reaching down towards the floor and touching. And each rep, I just switch those feet, doing a little dance. All right, so you got a minute there, and then you'll cycle back to the cyclist squats. We're going through 4 to 6 reps. Again, just kind of dependent on what you have available for time, where you're at in terms of your fitness levels. You can adjust reps and sets as you need to. The last thing we have is our breathe section. And that is 5 minutes, eyes closed, deep diaphragmatic breathing in a heel sitting position. So remember our heel sitting position, I'm going to kneel. This is going to be similar to the bottom, or the same rather, at the bottom of our eccentric knee flexion. So I'm just going to sit back onto my heels. I'm going to settle in here. Big deep breaths into the belly, okay? Closing my eyes. If I need to put something underneath my ankles, if I have a lot of discomfort in my ankles for this, you can slide a towel or like a yoga bolster or something like that you might have underneath the front of the ankles, between the floor and the ankle, and that should relieve it. All right? Enjoy the workout, guys. We'll see you next time.